Hi, welcome to Electrical 101. Before you can understand the National Electrical Code, you should really understand how houses are fed electrically. They have distribution stations, receiving stations, with poles that are very high up in the sky, 30, 40 feet. And then they also have underground feeds. Look around in this neighborhood, you'll see underground feeds. Basically, underground feed is more difficult. It's also on the only more modern homes, but it's also more expensive to do because they have to dig it all up. Here, even the cable company, Time Warner, has put their feeds in the ground. We come over here, you have a vault. You have them in downtown Los Angeles and you have them all over. For this neighborhood, here is a vault that feeds the power to all the homes in this little track here. And then if we walk over here, they have a smaller underground feed that goes to separate homes, and then they have electrical panels about 10 feet back on the side of the home. That's what you call underground electrical feed. Our other neighborhood that we looked at was built in the 70s. This neighborhood was probably built in the 50s and 60s. At the very top, you're going to see high voltage lines. Okay, your house deals with 120/240. Here they may have 34,005 kVA. Look at the very top lines up on the pole there. As you can see at the very top of the lines, there's a gray can. That can is a transformer. It steps it down. There's about 4 foot to 5 foot wires going down, and then that carries what they call a triplex, which is a windy gray wire that goes over here and it goes to the house. Typically what happens is this house is fed with several wires. The gray wire is the 240 feed, 120/240, and the other wire is probably the cable TV or the phone lines. As we were saying, in the older neighborhoods you're going to see wires. If we look, we can see cable wires. Cable wires are on the lower part of your telephone poles, and you also have it, like here we have a T-tap that goes with phone lines. Once again, we're talking about overhead feeds. The top wires on their telephone telephone poles are typically your higher voltage wires at 34,500 volts or something higher like that. Here we have your 3 lines on top, which are your higher voltage on the very top. Then when it drops down, it typically drops down to a can. We look over here, we see these gray cans that are transformers. What they do is they take the voltage from say 34,500 and they drop it down to 120/240. Get a better close-up. If we look at this little house here, this little white house, they have several lines going to their house. The one to the far left is your 120/240 feed. Okay? If you look to the right, you probably have a telephone and you have your cable television. They keep them separated so that they don't go ahead and have cross connections. This pole right here, this is probably for cable television. It has no electrical power in it. But right across the street there, that one on the very top, that has your higher voltage. It goes ahead and it has your drop-down feed for houses, and it goes ahead and you can see how in a neighborhood with a lot of wires, it's not quite as aesthetically pleasing. If you look over that way, you can see the can on the very top. They look like a big trash can or what have you. It's a gray can, and they are basically transformers. They take the electrical supply feed, maybe say something around the neighborhood of 34,500 volts, and they drop it down to approximately 120/240.